It's day 2 at Football University Top Gun, and when you start your day with someone from the smile capital of the world, Pocatello, Idaho, well, you can only go down from there. Merril Hoge is a 9-year NFL veteran as he spent time with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Chicago Bears. His son, Bo, is a quarterback, class of 2015. He's got a nephew, Tristan, who is an East Bay All-American and is also a 2015 class member. Merril, good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good to see you, and it's good to be seen.
Yeah. What is it like coming to Top Gun, experiencing this as a father, as a guy who's an NFL analyst and knows the game inside and out, and watching your son go through something maybe you wish you had growing up?
Yeah, well, first of all, yes, I do wish I had something like this growing up. And I ran football camps, so from being inside, running camps, to playing, to now being on the outside kind of looking in. It's actually been a really enjoyable experience. Just watch young kids develop. You know, you got coaches here that played in the National Football League that I played against or played with, and to watch them coach and teach is nice to see things being passed on. You know, young kids are learning stuff that we didn't learn until we got to the National Football League. So, you know, you guys do a great job of doing that and developing kids and teaching them not just football skills, but, you know, life lessons.
I was going to say, it's kind of a reunion for you, is maybe seeing some of your former colleagues on the field. But from a technical standpoint, what's impressed you the most through the first day and a half?
Well, you know what, I like to see what kind of drills guys set up, you know, where they try to work with technique stuff. And then when they do the individual matchups, you know, because football is about matchups, you know, it's about winning those matchups. So watching guys coach kids and try to help them when they get involved in matchups, you know, trying to win, whether it's offensive side or defensive side. What
do you give to your son in terms of advice? Because you've worked with a guy like Ron Jaworski on Edge NFL matchup, a big quarterback. He's a quarterback himself. And your nephew, Tristan, for that matter. I mean, it's a football family. What advice can you lay on them as a player, a former player? Well,
you know, one thing, and I kind of hit on it earlier, you know, I'm a youth football coach too, and I always talk to my young kids, you know, that football is a tough game for tough people, but it's also a very smart game for intelligent people. And that I probably focus on more than anything, because the techniques of football are so vital. You know, Tristan, for example, you go over and watch him in the offensive line, just how important your footwork is with your hand coordination and where your hands need to be at the right timing, you know, both throwing a football. The same thing, your footwork, you know, and that becoming so vital and you being able to throw the football successful. You know, I played for one of the greatest teachers to ever walk the sideline of a football field. I don't care what level we talk about. But Chuck Noll was the greatest teacher I was ever around, one of the greatest leaders. And if you take the principles that he used to teach us, and it didn't matter if you're playing offense or defense, it's still true today. You know, he used 3 things. He talked about same foot, same shoulder, first contact wins, and a rising blow. Now, it would take us a long time to break that down, but when you teach those things and you teach young kids how to be in those positions, you do a couple things. You make the game safer. You make it more enjoyable because they can have success at it. And when you have success and you have a thing that's more enjoyable, what do you get out of kids? Fun. You know, so, you know, I see that be going on here, and being fundamentally sound is just so important, and that's what you come to these camps to learn to do.
Well, as Top Gun started yesterday, the kids were having fun with the coach introductions. FBU has made it a priority to make this the elite camp. How did Bo, Tristan maybe get involved in the pipeline?
Well, you know what, I'd heard about, you know, FBU, and, you know, Tristan started, and actually Bo came, you know, to some camps, you know, years ago, and I've seen this thing evolved. You know, you talked about the introductions, you know, listen, it's still a game. You got to have fun, and I appreciate this. From running football camps, I think that, you know, I've seen there's a lot of fun here. And not that I would go back and run camps again, because there's a lot of work that goes involved in camp. You guys would know this, but, you know, it's a lot of work behind the scenes. But, you know, techniques, mastering your craft, but, you know, having fun doing it. You know, be able to create that atmosphere is pretty nice.
I want to go back to something you said about you wish you had this growing up, and guys are learning things now that NFL players learned when you got to the league in 20 years ago. So tell me, as you watch hours of film each NFL season, what you see that may be developed here at a younger age that can help blossom as these kids go forward in their careers.
Well, I think that one of the things in football, a challenge in football that exists is, you know, playing fundamentally sound. You know, head trauma has become a major issue. It's a hot button right now. We got a lot of people running around with their hair on fire. And what I mean by that, we got a lot of parents, single parents, uneducated parents, uneducated people running around scared of the game of football. Largely due to not being educated and understanding. So what I think we're trying to do in football, especially from the National Football League level, is we're correcting a game or correcting an area that's eroded and getting to the point. And what I'm trying to answer here is, if you've noticed in the National Football League, it's gotten better, but what's eroded is you never teach throwing your elbow at somebody leading with your head. And that kind of activity was being used in football. Then it's not necessarily illegal, except a deliberate blow to the head, but throwing your elbow up there, leading with your head, not being fundamentally sound was not penalized. Now it's going to be penalized. So getting to what we're doing now, I think what you guys are doing here is you're teaching how to strike an opponent. You use your shoulder pads. Go back to Chuck Noll. Football is a rising blow. It's not a lunge and throw your body out there. In fact, Chuck Noll used to talk about the second that you leave your feet, you are no longer a football player, offensively or defensively. So you have to get in a good football position where your hips are sunk and you rise to the opponent. You play behind your pads. That's what I think I see you guys doing here, that we're reestablishing and teaching. How do you strike? How do you play behind your pads? How do you use the techniques? And it goes back to what I said in the very beginning. When you do those things, and you hit somebody, you have fun doing it, and you're like, wow, okay, that worked. I experienced it, and I'm better, and I was safer in the process. So teaching that across America, I think, is so extremely vital that we do that. Help educate the parent that your player is going to be a lot safer when they play correctly, but we got to enforce that, and we're doing it in the National Football League and obviously being done here.
That's a great point, and one of the many things the kids are learning here at Top Gun 2013. Well, Merril, thanks for stopping by the Media Hub. All the best to you. It's going to crescendo. This is an exciting time of year, a NFL matchup, all that stuff getting going again for you, and keep walking that Windsor knot.
We will get the Windsor going and the clicker and the cowboy and the tape, brother. We'll be ready this season.
Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure.
Merril Hoge, 9-year NFL veteran, stopping by here at FBU Top Gun 2013.